Temperature check. Yeah, so one of the questions that you guys asked me to provide is, you know, what's the most dangerous situation I've ever been in the F-16? Well, you know, I think the more experience you get in any fighter platform or any airplane in general, the more you find that, you know, there's always going to be that day for a guy, right? And you just hope that that day doesn't come very often, if ever, right? For me, I had a critical fuel leak over the middle of the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and Guam a couple years back, and had to actually divert into Wake Island. Departure Viper 3, 2 ship airborne on the Flex West.
Viper 3 nose departure, INS air requested altitude.
Thankfully, we had a tanker with us, so I was able to refuel and make sure that all that was good to go, and bring it down into the field. Viper 3 with the flash, climbing 16.5.
Viper 3 radar contact over the racetrack.
That day, I had one wingman with me. He was actually my flight lead for the day, and I was the wingman. He backed me up in the checklist and the decision-making process, and we decided to turn it around and bring it into Wake Island, which is a planned divert for us, but one that guys do not go to very often. So we brought it back down and brought it down to that airfield, and everything was safe and good from that point on. Alright, so before everything overheats, I'll try and answer these questions as best I can. So, when does the fatigue factor start setting in dogfighting or BFM? Really, the answer to that is immediately. So,
Viper 3, contact nose control, channel 8.
Viper, push 8. The answer to that really is, honestly, immediately. When you're doing knife fighting in the phone booth, you're getting in close. You can kind of see in the defensive fighting regime that I'm almost breathing more heavily and getting more flustered than if I'm offensive. You know, if you're in an offensive posture, all you need to do is look forward and really have a precise maneuvering to kill the adversary, right? So it's more cerebral than the tooth to nail posture of defensive BFM. But really, you know, any aircraft can go from an offensive to a defensive position in a heartbeat. So you've really got to be prepared for anything. So I'd say, you know, fatigue really sets in immediately, and you don't really get it back until you stop fighting and go to a different regime of flight or go back home. So, yeah. All right, starting the GX 4 to 5 for the first 90, 5 to 7 for the second. Viper 1's ready. For G1 in place 90 right now. Alright, not bad. G1S in place 180 left now. Alright, that worked alright.
Altitude.
In place 90 right, 1's good G.
Good G.
Flight floor 10,000, acknowledge. Reference 260.
Semi frequency 126.55.
Update 250. Alright. So that looked like that worked okay. So you can already tell my heart rate is just a little bit increased, and we only maxed out at 5.7 Gs there. So 5.7 times my body weight, which is about 150 for your transparency there, right?
Altitude.
Bullet 3-1, you got traffic to your northwest, about 10 miles southbound, F-15, flight level 187, and then you got traffic southeast, the PC-12, 16.5.
Alright, so now we're maneuvering to what we call a ski room. position on our wingman here, and then we're going to set up a 9K. What that means is we're starting at 2 nautical miles, and then he's going to set himself up in a defensive position so that we can set up an offensive fight for me.
Strike copies confirmed, they're going to North Island.
Affirmative.
One of the questions that I have been getting asked lately is Top Gunner Iron Eagle, and I will admit that I've actually seen neither, and I am fully recognize that I am a complete disappointment to the entire fighter aviation community for that fact. However, I feel like integrity is the best solution in most, if not all, circumstances, and so I guess I'll roast myself on the internet for that one. So yeah. So there you go. One's ready. 7.0 G limit.
Left across.
Check right.
Lock.
2.8. Alright, so we're going to call down ranges until 1.5, which is going to be our fights on.
Sorry about that. Last aircraft call up your steps on again. Yeah, try that again.
2.5. 7G limit. That's probably the highest threat for me in over-G and the jet here with 2 external tanks. So we got to watch out for that. 2.0. 1.9. 1.8. 1.7. 1.6. 0.5. Fights on. Looking for the turn circle entry.
05 Whiskey Fox 46.
Right about there. It's going downhill.
Altitude. Altitude.
Nice, just above the floor. Maintain airspeed. Alright, we're on G's now we just need to rate around the circle and catch him.
Whiskey, radar contact, 4 miles east of Five Wells Airport. China Lake altimeter 2965. Contact Los Angeles 4.22 today.
Let's see what he does.
Lock.
Okay, 1.0. 0.9. 110 knots of closure. Looks good. Oh, he's right above the floor. Viper terminate, Viper 1 terminate.
Viper 2 terminate.
Fall off right. Next at defensive 6K for number 1. Alright, so you can see how my heart rate is slightly increased here. The G was high initially, maxing out at 6.2.
Traffic. 4 west, Kentucky 10 south.
1. Opcheck 1 is 7.5.
7 low dry.
Alright, but these next ones, once we are at an unlimited G restriction, should be good to go for us to see that higher heart rate. We've got about 400 pounds to go. All right, so this one's going to be a defensive posture in a longer range set. So this one's a 6K. He's going to start at 1.5 nautical miles. And then I'm going to be the defender with a flight floor of 10,000 feet. So really the name of the game here is to stay out of his threat weapons engagement zone. So that's going to be both his gun and his missiles. So primarily what you're going to see today is trying to dodge his gun if he gets in close. All right. Something else really worth talking about here in defensive BFM that the DCS and flight sim players won't really be able to appreciate as much is that, you know, this is all a manual experience for a fighter pilot. Start a right-hand turn.
Suggest left over the port train.
Say again.
Suggest you keep going left over the valley.
Left turn. Let me know if you see the strange traffic. Okay, so what I mean by that is nothing is guaranteed to you. You have to find the adversary and you've got to find him yourself, and you've got to maintain tally, doing everything that you can, contorting your body to use whatever visuals you have available in the cockpit to stay alive. So fight to survive is really the name of the game in defensive BFM, and you're going to keep doing that until the adversary either hits the ground, runs out of gas, or your wingman saves you. So there we go. What is the most meaningful sortie I've been on? So the answer I can give you for that is, you know, my most meaningful sortie was probably the first flight that I had.
Send me the Jason 1 arrival runway 01 left transition.
It was probably the first flight that I had after becoming a 4-ship flight lead. So the progression as a military aviator is you start as a wingman where you're just following guys around, you're learning the ropes, because really the only thing you can do is proficiently, and maybe not even that at the time, is fly your own airplane, let alone lead somebody else. And so after about a year or so, depending on your performance, you know, as a wingman, you'll get put into something called the flight lead upgrade, which the duration of it varies depending on, once again, your performance, but after about a 6-month period, you'll become a 4-ship flight lead and certified to take another 3 F-16 aircraft with you into combat. So the first flight I had with a wingman, after being trusted to those proverbial keys, was an incredibly surreal experience.
He's ready.
Check left.
1, 2.
Go.
Or F-16.
Right and turn, deep 6.
Same flight level 1.
Tally.
1. Right and turn. Lights on.
Altitude. Altitude.
No lead. He's in lag. Now. EB, can I save it? Maybe not in a 2 bag. Oh, we saved it. Oh.
Go Viper 10,000.
Viper, knock it off. Viper 1, knock it off.
Viper 2, knock it off.
Woo! All right, max 6.9 Gs there. That's a good one. Left-hand turn. Whew, okay, so you can really see now the effects of G's on the body. You're turning around, you're fighting, and especially in defensive BFM, you have no opportunity to relax. So yeah, I'm curious to see what my heart rate looks like and what the G's look like on that set. Next set, defensive 6K for number 1. Because it just goes to show, not only are you fighting to survive in your jet, but you're fighting to survive with your body as well. So there you go. Object 1 is 6.6. Alright, we're going to do another defensive 6K, starting at 1.5. See how this one works out. 1's ready.
You ready?
Check right. Circle entry on time. He's in lag. Okay.
Altitude. Altitude.
Jesus. Oh no. He's gonna overshoot. Maybe.
Still Viper 11,000.
Viper knock it off, Viper 1 knock off.
Viper 10 knock left.
On off left. Alright, well. That's what you get when you fly against one of the most experienced guys in operational test. Some of these guys are so experienced that, you know, they just never miss. Unfortunately, I'm on the receiving end of that, so sometimes that's how it goes. But you know, being trained by the best and the most proficient is the only way we'd want to have it here. Yeah, so this is my office. Welcome to my office. You know, for a lot of guys, you know, working professionals or most of the world out there, you know, they do a 9 to 5. They go to work. They get in an office chair in a cubicle in a building, you know, and do that kind of work. And I'm sure it's impactful and incredible and making a difference in its own way. But you know, this is what I do.
Up 3 left, base gear, stop 3 left.
Viper 3, runway 3 left, 1030 at 24, got 28, cleared to land.
Viper 3, clear to land, 3 left.
Messing up my radio calls because I'm thinking about life. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the right thing or the wrong thing, but it's good to have you guys out here flying with me because you know it's not just fun and games when you're flying a jet like this. You know, a lot of people see the cool airplane, cool flying, and think it's just us going up and having fun. But in reality, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot to do. There's a lot being asked of a typical fighter pilot in the Air Force. That it is a full-time job and a half a lot of the times. So yeah, I would say for every flight we do about can be up to 12 hours of mission planning the day prior, and then 3 hours to 4 hours for the brief prior to the flight. You fly for an hour and a half, and then you debrief for up to 4 hours or even more sometimes. So there's a lot going into a single sortie, which is the only portion that a lot of people see. A little bit long landing, a little bit heavyweight. Not bad though. Sweet. It's a good flight, guys.